Hello, sisters. Welcome to Sister Sunday. This is week 2, episode 2. I'm going to try to condense my material today so you're not sitting here for 15 minutes like you were last week. If those of you just joining, my name is Quincy. I am a certified personal trainer and certified in nutrition. And I also have PCOS. So my goal is really to educate you and give you some resources to really educate yourself on PCOS. So let's get started. My number one favorite book to read, if you've been diagnosed with PCOS and you have hormonal imbalances, I would recommend Woman Code by Alisa Vitti. She's a holistic health coach. Just a real quick rundown of this. I'll be real short, but it really talks about supplements, hormonal imbalances, phases of your hormones, and food groups. Like my favorite page in here goes over the phases of your menstrual cycle and the different foods to eat during each phase of the cycle. So once you do hone in and balance your hormones, you can really kind of keep it regulated. So excellent book. Pick this up. I bought this off Amazon. It's awesome. Number 2, I don't have this book with me because I listened to it on Audible, but I love it. If you are in the phase of your life trying to get pregnant, I would highly recommend this book, Getting Pregnant with PCOS by Claire Goodwin. She's from New Zealand. She's a nutritionist, and she has a company called the PCOS Nutritionist.com, and they have their whole 12-week protocol. It is pretty pricey. I did look into it myself, but it is really excellent and helpful information. But you can get a lot of great free information from her through her podcast. So look up the PCOS Nutritionist. And her book, Getting Pregnant with PCOS, is excellent because if you have it, it goes over like what type of blood work to get, diets to follow, exercise, sleep, and then it also talks about the male side of things. So I would recommend your partner reading it as well so you can both be on the same page. Highly recommend that. Next thing I would recommend is cooking, cookbooks. So learning diet with PCOS is kind of fun, but also kind of like confusing. So let's make it simple. And I bought this book off of Amazon for Easy PCOS Diet by Tara Spencer. Really goes over like insulin resistance diet. So you want something that is low glycemic index. Great stuff in here. And just play around with it, and we'll go over a whole section on these individually, but I have a ton of cookbooks. But that one's a great one to start with. Also, I would recommend looking at Pinterest. This is actually where I learned the different types of PCOS in Pinterest. And I learned my major contributor was like adrenal fatigue because I was an athlete. I was constantly high stress, putting a lot of stress on my body. If you work in a high stress job, you're going to be the same way. So I bought this book at Half Price Book. It's called Adrenal Fatigue for Dummies. It's really great because it talks about the hormones and how you get there, how you get out of it. And so, educate yourself on what type of PCOS you have, and you might have, you're borderline on a couple. But then try to take those and see, like, if your inflammatory response is a big factor, then, read up on the inflammation. So that was excellent. Another thing I would recommend is just educating yourself. So if you have access to journals, medical journals, I'm also a registered dental hygienist, so I am in the medical field, so I have access to certain journals, etc. And I found actually this textbook, and you can buy this textbook online, but it's expensive. But it's called just Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. And I printed out a few chapters of this book and highlighted some things. So it's really great, and it also makes me really happy that the medical field is being up to date with PCOS and really teaching and training the doctors. So new doctors are going to be a lot more educated than younger doctors in this field, because they do actually have like a whole textbook on it. It's amazing. So that is definitely one resource I would recommend. And just, you know, if you're in school, you have a whole database. So, you know, look it up, look up PCOS and metabolic syndrome, or just PCOS, and print off all the articles that you can, because it's really important to educate yourself on PCOS if you've been diagnosed. So that's really it book-wise. As far as support groups go, I would recommend getting on Facebook. We have a ton of them. One of them I'm part of is the PCOS support group, and women post on there all the time, and it's really an excellent source of information for all things. But there is going to be a lot of pregnancy stuff on there, but then also other things like hair loss or hair growth and all that. So it's just good that we have a community. So look that up. I also started a page, PCOS Chicks. I'm going to be posting a lot of great information on there, so join that as well. And Instagram also. So there's, you know, the PCOS nutritionist, Claire Goodwin. There's also a sister and her mister. I love them too. Her husband is a personal trainer and she's a registered dietitian. And they put out all sorts of good information there. So look them up as well. So I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't rush through it too much. If you have any questions or you want me to talk about a certain topic, please post in the comments below. Please like the video, share it with your friends, and let me know what you want to know more about with PCOS. Thanks for joining. Bye.